Let's say China.
China.
There are next-door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
Go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Yes, hello, welcome. I am James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened, the only news you need if your name is Mike Pence. It's Friday, the 7th of July, 2017. And today, since this episode is for him anyway, Mike Pence proved that his understanding of the English language is not that great. He was touring the NASA complex, and there was a piece of equipment there which says on the sign, "Critical space flight hardware, do not touch." Well, the photograph that's been snapped is Mike Pence touching it. In fact, it looks like he's in a church service and laying hands on this critical space flight hardware. "I cast you out, evil flight demon!" That's perhaps what he's saying. I have no confirmation of that, but it does look like that. If you go look at this photograph, it really does look like he's, casting out some critical space flight hardware demon. And keeping on the whole flight theme, a nice twist on the familiar story of flight attendants beating up passengers. Well, a Delta Airlines passenger actually beat up a flight attendant in a flight from Seattle to Beijing. The altercation happened about 45 minutes after takeoff. The plane then had to turn around and go back to Seattle Airport. It's a 23-year-old man. His name has not been released. The flight attendant was injured and was taken to hospital where she recovered from her injuries. And I have to admit, I do see where this fella's coming from, because when I'm flying and they come around and say, "Sir, here are your pretzels," I say, "What the fuck? I don't want pretzels. Where are my peanuts? Give me my peanuts. That's what I get on a flight, is peanuts." And they say, "Sorry, sir, there is somebody on board who is allergic to peanuts. They have a nut allergy, and therefore we cannot serve peanuts on the whole flight." To which I respond, "I'm sorry, but I'm not allergic to peanuts, and I'm certainly not going to start flicking peanuts around in case they accidentally land in the mouth of somebody who has a nut allergy. I want my fucking peanuts." Mr. Andrews, I'm afraid we only have pretzels on the flight today. So you know what I'm going to start doing now? From now on when I fly, I'm going to check that little "I have a nut allergy" box to annoy everybody, so everybody has to have pretzels every time. But I'm going to bring a little bag of peanuts in my pocket. And today in Germany, President Donald Trump finally met and shook hands with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The historic moment was caught on camera, and there was a lot of journalists there taking a lot of photographs. But here it is, that moment that's really up there with the moon landing for historic greatness.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. President Putin and I have been discussing various things, and I think it's going very well. We've had some very, very good talks. We're going to have a talk now, and obviously that will continue. But we look forward to a lot of very positive things happening for Russia, for the United States, and for everybody concerned. And it's an honor to be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
And there it is, in all its glory, sounding exactly like an industrial film. They were camera shutters, trust me, it wasn't some weird sex robot thing going on. Actually, it might have been, we don't know, we couldn't see, we could only see Putin and Trump, so there may have been sex robots in the back making all that chattering noise. We'll never know. And speaking of sex robots, the Salvation Army just released a report warning of the dark side of sex robots, which I assume means sort of like having sex with Trump Vader. That would well, he's a half robot, isn't he? So he's not a full robot, but the dark side of sex robots. And in fact, what it might do is it might fuel the demand for sex with real people. The report then goes on to say that sex bots, they cannot fulfill the need for human interaction and for rewarding, loving relationships. And that remains to be seen. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Salvation Army really has nothing to worry about, because I'm looking at the photographs here of these men with their sex bots, and, well, first off, the men definitely couldn't get a real girl, would be my first point. And secondly, the sex bots, they are, I'm speechless. They're awesome. They are fantastic. They sort of, I don't know. It's kind of like having sex with a large candle. Is sort of what it looks like, with a fixed expression, sort of that was my mouth open. You couldn't see it, but that's the expression they have. It's spectacular. And these men that are with them, my God, I mean, they are bottom of the gene pool types. They really are. And now, on this Friday, I want to turn our attention to something a little more serious, and this has to do with Fox News in a roundabout sort of way. You may have heard about the lady who stabbed her husband and 4 children to death in Georgia recently. It was a very sad case. The lady in question, Isabel Martinez, a 33-year-old, to all intents and purposes, and I'm no expert in this, but it looks like she snapped. When she got to court for the charges to be read, she was smiling, she looked happy, she was giving the camera the thumbs up. It looks like a lady who needs desperate mental help. But Fox News, God bless them, their headline today is "Illegal Immigrant Shows Lack of Remorse for Slaughtering Family." And that kind of rhetoric is, well, it's dangerous, isn't it? Okay, so this lady entered the US illegally many years ago. Her children range from a toddler to a 9-year-old. And it looks like she just snapped, went crazy, and committed this horrendous act. But she needs some help. You can clearly see that from the photographs if you look at them. And this does not look like a stable person. The fact that she entered the US illegally many years ago has zero to do with the case, but Fox News seems to think that that is the most important thing about this entire case. Not that these poor innocent children and her husband were murdered, but no, it was a fucking illegal immigrant that did it, and you see, if we let them in, they're all going to do this. There are going to be dead husbands and children everywhere. So, well done, Fox, for keeping that professional. Wankers. So, most of the media today is focusing on the G20 summit, which is great. It's a very important thing to look at, but I'm not going to talk about it, because if you want to look at that, you can turn on CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, or if you want some alternative news, you can turn on Fox and have a look what they're saying about it. So what I want to focus on is the other big news of the day, and that is that a lot of jobs were added to the American economy. According to the US Department of Labor, in June, 222,000 jobs were added to the economy. Now that's higher than April and higher than May. And of course, we're hearing a lot from Donald Trump and the entire administration that, look, we told you that Donald Trump was going to put jobs back into America, and by God, that's exactly what he's doing. So I thought I would take a look at just how accurate that statement is. Now, we all know that Donald Trump loves to talk and tweet about adding jobs to the American economy, and so far, since Donald Trump became president in 5 months, employers have added 863,000 jobs, and that's fantastic. But is this a new trend? Is this just sort of Donald Trump became president and all of a sudden people started hiring? Well, let's look back at Barack Obama's last 5 months in office and see how many jobs were added. Well, if we look at that number, it's actually 908,000 jobs. So that's more. Now, with June adding so many jobs to the economy, Trump has pulled a little bit closer to his predecessor's last 5 months, but he's still not quite there. And the line that the administration is running on is, but look at Barack Obama's first 5 months in office. He didn't add any jobs. In fact, 3 million jobs were lost. But you also have to remember that that was 2008, and that was sort of the second Great Depression. It was the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. So that was, a bit unfair. And in fact, when Obama handed over the keys to the White House to Trump, the unemployment rate was at 4.8%, which economists consider full employment. That's a huge amount of people with jobs in a country. And if we want to look at it, so Trump's record of 863,000 jobs in his first 5 months, that's less than 5 months a year ago. That was 955,000 jobs added in that same period exactly 1 year ago. It also trails Barack Obama's second term, when 1 million jobs were added in the first 5 months, and George W. Bush's second term, where 1.2 million jobs were added. And if we want to go back even further, in Bill Clinton's first 5 months, 948,000 jobs were added, and then his second term, 1.4 million jobs in that first 5 months of his second term. So, with Donald Trump tweeting all the time that, look how many jobs I'm adding to the economy, it's awesome. Well, yeah, it is absolutely awesome. Whenever jobs get added to a country, that's great. It's great for the country, it's very great for the economy, for the people that live here. But to say that I am better than everybody that's doing this is completely disingenuous, because in fact, it's completely untrue. So is this just another case of Donald Trump has done something which isn't negative, so the press and people jump on it and say, yes, but look at all the jobs that have been added to the economy, it's absolutely amazing. But if you actually look back at the history of presidents, it's really not that amazing. It's average at best, and you could argue it's below average. It's certainly below pretty much everyone except for Barack Obama's first term, when the economy was in the shitter, to use a term that you're all familiar with. So there you go, a little ammunition. So next time one of your Trump-loving friends says, yeah, but look at all the jobs he's added to the economy, you can just quickly grab out your phone, rewind this episode, find that little bit there, and then you can share those figures. You say, but in fact, Barack Obama, he made 908,000 jobs in his last month. So in fact, if you look at that, Trump hasn't done that well at all, has he? And you are very welcome for that. And it's Friday, so we need to find some happy news to end on. And what I've found is really spectacular, actually, and this involves France, that lovely country. They have said that they will eliminate coal from all of France by 2022, and they will also eliminate all petrol, that's gasoline-powered cars, by 2040. So that is spectacular. Norway has also jumped on this bandwagon, and they've said by 2025 everybody in Norway will be driving clean vehicles. And then India also announced that it will eliminate petrol and diesel cars by 2030. This is all awesome. And then Donald Trump wants to dig for more coal. Well, the question is, mate, who the fuck are you going to sell it to? Because everybody's getting rid of it. And so there we go, some happy news for Friday. Anyway, listen, it's been a really good week, nice little short one for us, and enjoy your weekend, have a really good time. So go grab yourselves a cocktail, and I will chat with you on Monday. Remember, follow me on Twitter at So This Happened, and if you like the podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you're listening, and tell a friend, and I will chat with you later. Bye-bye.